Imagine this. You're at a social gathering, and there's a woman across the room you'd like to talk to. Your mind starts racing. What do I say? Should I ask her where she's from? What she does for work? Maybe something about the music playing? You approach her, and almost instinctively, you begin asking question after question. Hi, what's your name? Do you like this place? What do you do? Each question seems polite, but deep down, you feel the tension growing. She smiles politely, but something feels off. The conversation doesn't flow. She glances at her phone, and your confidence drops. Here's the surprising truth. Asking endless questions is one of the fastest ways to kill a conversation. Most people think it shows interest, but psychology says otherwise. Questions can make people feel interrogated, pressured, or even judged. They don't naturally create connection. They create obligation. So what's the solution? How do you have meaningful, engaging conversations without relying on endless questions? That's what we're about to explore. Hi, I'm Emmanuel, and on this channel, we dive deep into the psychology of human behavior, emotional intelligence, and relationships. Today, we'll uncover the secrets of talking to women in a way that feels natural, confident, and engaging. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to stop relying on questions and start having conversations that spark curiosity and connection. Psychological techniques to make interactions effortless and enjoyable. Practical strategies you can use immediately to transform your confidence and social skills. This isn't about memorized lines, tricks, or manipulation. It's about understanding how human minds respond to conversation and applying that knowledge to communicate more effectively. If you've ever felt nervous, stuck, or awkward during interactions, stay with me. What I'm about to share will shift the way you approach every conversation, not just with women, but with anyone you want to connect with. Picture this. You're at a cozy coffee shop on a quiet afternoon. You notice a woman sitting across the room, completely absorbed in a book. There's something about her presence that draws your attention. You feel a spark of curiosity, maybe even admiration. You take a deep breath, gather your courage, and walk over. Suddenly, your mind goes blank. You panic slightly, thinking, what do I say? What if I sound awkward? And then it happens. You start asking questions. Hi, what are you reading? Oh, do you come here often? Where are you from? At first, it feels like you're making conversation. But then you notice her smile is polite, not warm. Her eyes glance at her coffee cup, then her phone. You feel the subtle shift. She's answering, but not really engaging. The energy in the conversation feels flat, forced. You leave feeling a mix of embarrassment and frustration, thinking, why can't I talk to women like other people do? Now, imagine a slightly different scenario. Same coffee shop, same woman, same initial curiosity. But this time, you decide to try something new. Instead of asking questions, you observe and share. You notice the book she's reading and say, I love how this author describes everyday moments. It feels so real, doesn't it? She looks up, genuinely intrigued. You continue, sharing a small story about why you enjoy that author. Maybe it reminds you of a quiet afternoon you spent at the beach or a funny moment from your last vacation. You laugh lightly, and she laughs too. The conversation flows naturally, with pauses, smiles, and shared reactions. The difference is clear. In the first scenario, your conversation felt like a checklist of questions, leaving her feeling like she had to perform answers. In the second, you created a space for connection, where curiosity and emotion naturally brought the conversation to life. Psychologists explain this using something called emotional engagement theory. People respond to stories, observations, and shared experiences far more than to questions that demand information. When you share a part of yourself first, you trigger curiosity and make the other person feel comfortable responding without pressure. This shift, from interrogation to engagement, is subtle but powerful. You stop asking questions that feel forced and start creating moments of real connection. You feel confident, she feels intrigued, and the conversation flows effortlessly. Now that you've seen how conversations can go wrong when we rely too heavily on questions, let's explore why this happens and how psychology explains it. Humans have a natural need to feel seen, understood, and emotionally safe. When someone asks too many questions, even with good intentions, it can create subtle discomfort. Your brain unconsciously interprets excessive questioning as a form of pressure, judgment, or expectation. You're not being malicious. Your brain is just wired to protect itself from social stress. This is why asking endless questions can make a conversation feel flat, awkward, or even stressful. It's like a subtle, invisible barrier forming between you and the person you want to connect with. So what's the alternative? Psychology suggests a statement-based, story-driven approach. Instead of asking questions to gather information, share experiences, observations, or feelings that naturally invite response. Let's break down some practical ways to do this. 1. Share your experiences first. When you open up with a story or personal experience, you create a safe space for the other person to respond naturally. For example, instead of asking, "Do you like movies?" you could say, "I just watched a movie that made me laugh so hard. I couldn't stop smiling." She might share her own experience, but it comes organically, not because she's being interrogated. 2. Use observations instead of questions. Observing details about the person, environment, or situation shows attentiveness and sparks curiosity. For instance, "That scarf is really vibrant. It reminds me of autumn mornings." Observations are non-threatening and emotionally engaging. They create opportunities for connection without pressuring her to perform socially. 3. Engage emotionally, not intellectually. Many conversations fail because people default to factual questions. Emotional engagement, however, creates genuine curiosity and investment. Comment on feelings, reactions, or shared experiences. Example: "I felt so inspired after reading that article. It reminded me of a time I tried something completely new." 4. Mirror and match subtly. Psychologists call this mirroring. By subtly reflecting her tone, pace, or body language, you create comfort and rapport. If she's calm and thoughtful, match her energy. If she's lively and playful, reflect that energy. Mirroring works on a subconscious level, making her feel understood and safe. 5. Open loops to trigger curiosity. Humans are naturally drawn to incomplete stories. Share snippets or hints that encourage her to engage voluntarily. Example: "Something funny happened at work today. I couldn't believe it." Pause and let curiosity drive the conversation forward. These techniques allow you to move away from question-based conversations and toward engagement-based connections. You're no longer collecting answers. You're creating shared experiences and emotional resonance. The result? Conversations feel effortless. She feels intrigued, and you feel confident and in control. You're no longer stuck in the cycle of awkward questions and short answers. Instead, you're creating moments of connection that leave a lasting impression. Now that you understand the psychology behind conversations and why asking too many questions can backfire, let's dive into practical techniques you can use to talk to any woman naturally and confidently. These methods focus on storytelling, observation, and emotional engagement, the tools that create connection without pressure. 1. Storytelling. Humans are wired to respond to stories. A well-told story is one of the fastest ways to capture attention and create curiosity. When you share a story about yourself, it does more than entertain. It invites the other person to respond authentically. For example, instead of asking, "Do you like traveling?" you might say, "Last summer, I ended up in a small village by accident, and it completely changed how I think about adventures." She may respond with her own experience, but notice, it comes naturally because she's intrigued, not obligated. 2. Playful observations. Observation statements are another powerful tool. Instead of questioning her, comment on something you notice. It could be about her style, environment, or behavior. For instance, "That color really suits you. It's like it was made for this place." Observations show attentiveness and subtly compliment her, which triggers positive emotions. Unlike direct questions, they create a sense of curiosity and comfort simultaneously. 3. Emotional engagement. Emotions are the bridge of connection. Sharing how you feel about an experience or observation encourages the other person to engage on a deeper level. For example, "I couldn't stop smiling when I saw that scene. It reminded me of a moment when I tried something completely new." Conversations rooted in emotional engagement are far more memorable than ones focused on facts or data. Your goal is to invite her into your world, not extract information from hers. 4. Mirroring and matching. Mirroring is a subtle but powerful technique. Reflect her tone, energy, or body language to build rapport on a subconscious level. If she's calm and thoughtful, speak gently and pause often. If she's lively, let your energy match hers. This doesn't mean copying, just aligning enough to create comfort and trust. 5. Open loops. Open loops are incomplete stories or hints that create curiosity and engagement. For example, something unexpected happened on my way here, and I still can't believe it. Pause. Let curiosity take over. This technique naturally encourages her to ask questions without you having to prompt. 6. Humor and playfulness. A lighthearted comment or gentle joke instantly reduces social pressure. Humor creates positive emotional resonance and makes you more approachable. Even a small, playful observation, like noticing something quirky in the environment, can spark a smile and a relaxed atmosphere. When these techniques are combined, the conversation becomes effortless and engaging. You're no longer trapped in the cycle of questions and short answers. Instead, you're creating a flow where curiosity, shared experience, and emotional engagement take the lead. The key takeaway here is simple. Conversations are about connection, not interrogation. When you speak from a place of authenticity, share stories, and focus on emotions, women respond naturally. Your confidence rises, and the interaction becomes memorable for both of you. By now, you've learned the psychology behind why endless questions can hinder conversation, and you've explored practical techniques like storytelling, observations, mirroring, and open loops. Now, let's summarize clear, actionable takeaways you can start using immediately. 1. Share your stories first. Instead of asking, "What do you do?" or "Do you like this?" share a personal story, memory, or observation. Stories naturally draw people in, spark curiosity, and invite her to respond without pressure. Your experiences become the doorway to connection. 2. Use observations. Observations demonstrate attentiveness and subtly compliment the other person. For example, notice her laugh, her style, or how she reacts to something in the environment. Saying something like, "I love how focused you are while reading." That's rare, shows engagement, and encourages a natural response. 3. Focus on emotions, not facts. Emotional connection is far more memorable than factual Q&A. Share how experiences make you feel. Example, "I felt so inspired when I read that story. It reminded me of a time I tried something completely new." Emotion draws attention and creates a meaningful conversation. 4. Mirror and match. Subtly reflect her tone, energy, or pace to build comfort. Mirroring doesn't mean copying. It's about aligning enough to make her feel understood subconsciously. Calm energy invites calm. Lively energy invites playfulness. 5. Use open loops. Open loops are incomplete stories or intriguing statements that trigger curiosity. For instance, "Something unbelievable happened to me today." Pause. Let her curiosity guide the conversation naturally. Open loops encourage her to engage without forcing answers. 6. Inject playful humor. A gentle joke or playful comment reduces tension and makes you approachable. Humor creates shared positive emotions, making the interaction enjoyable and memorable. Even small, light-hearted observations can spark smiles and laughter. 7. Stop interrogating. Remember, the goal is connection, not collecting answers. Too many questions make the other person feel evaluated or pressured. Focus on shared experiences, curiosity, and engagement. Practical exercise. Next time you approach a woman, try these 3 steps. Share a brief story about something happening around you. Make an observation about her or the environment. Include a playful or emotional comment to spark engagement. Notice the difference. Conversations flow more naturally. She feels intrigued and comfortable, and you feel confident. Over time, these techniques become second nature, and social interactions become easier and more enjoyable. The key idea to remember: connection is built through presence, authenticity, and emotional engagement, not interrogation. Every story, observation, and subtle playful comment strengthens your ability to connect with anyone. Let's pause for a moment and reflect. Talking to women isn't about memorizing lines, rehearsing questions, or trying to impress. It's about being present, authentic, and emotionally engaging. The truth is, every conversation is an opportunity to connect, to share, and to create a small moment of joy and curiosity. When you stop asking endless questions and start sharing stories, observations, and emotions, something remarkable happens. Conversations flow naturally. You feel confident, calm, and in control. She feels seen, understood, and genuinely intrigued. That's the essence of connection. Two people engaging as equals, not as interviewer and interviewee. Think about it. Every story you share, every playful comment, every observation builds a bridge. You're no longer relying on luck or charm. You're using a repeatable method grounded in psychology. Each interaction becomes easier, more enjoyable, and more rewarding. The best part is, this skill is learnable. You don't need to be naturally charismatic, incredibly handsome, or a social genius. Emotional engagement, storytelling, observation, and subtle mirroring are tools you can practice and improve over time. Start small. Share a story about your day, notice something interesting in your surroundings, or make a lighthearted observation. With each conversation, your confidence grows, and connection becomes effortless. Imagine leaving a social interaction not feeling awkward or nervous, but feeling energized, satisfied, and genuinely connected. That's the payoff. And the emotional truth is simple. Connection isn't something you find, it's something you create. By showing curiosity, authenticity, and presence, you create experiences that are memorable and meaningful for both you and her. Remember, confidence in conversation is not about impressing someone. It's about being comfortable with yourself, aware of your emotions, and attentive to the other person. When you focus on connection instead of interrogation, the conversation naturally becomes engaging, fun, and fulfilling. So next time you approach someone, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Decide to share, observe, and engage emotionally. You'll notice the difference immediately. Conversations that once felt stressful or awkward can now become spaces of curiosity, laughter, and mutual understanding. Every step you take toward authentic conversation is a step toward better connections, more meaningful interactions, and stronger social confidence. You're not just learning how to talk to women. You're learning how to communicate with presence, empathy, and emotional intelligence. If you found these insights helpful, it's time to put them into action. Start small, share one story, make one observation, or add a playful comment in your next conversation. Notice how it changes the flow and energy. If this video inspired you, hit the like button to support the channel. Subscribe for more weekly psychology-based relationship insights, tips, and practical strategies that help you connect confidently with anyone. I'd love to hear from you. Share your experiences in the comments below. Which technique will you try first? Storytelling, playful observations, or emotional engagement? Your feedback not only helps you solidify these skills, but also inspires others in the community to grow. Remember, connection isn't about memorizing lines or asking endless questions. It's about being present, authentic, and emotionally engaged. Every story you share, every observation you make, and every subtle, playful comment strengthens your ability to connect naturally. Take what you've learned today, practice it, and watch your conversations transform. Your confidence will grow, interactions will become enjoyable, and meaningful connections will follow naturally.